Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Brinstar Podcast. Here on the show I have either myself or a friend discuss the day in the life of a Nintendo gamer. Whether it's based on new and exciting games such as Splatoon 2 and Fire Emblem Warriors, to retro classics such as Earthbound and Donkey Kong 64, whatever you are playing or interested in, you can tell here at the Brinstar Podcast. Now, this week, again I have Matt.
Hello.
And we're back again to talk about more Nintendo. And then I'm your host, of course, Brandon. So, as always, let's just jump right in with the first topic. So, Street Fighter 2, or Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, came out last Friday, right?
Yeah, the 26th.
And, you know, it's interesting. For $40, do you think it was worth it?
I mean, I paid $30.
Yeah, we paid $30 because some stores such as Amazon or Best Buy do like this discount service where you save 20%.
Yeah, if you buy a membership.
Yeah, you save 20% on these new games, and it fell into that category for us, so we basically paid about $35 and change or something like that, right?
Oh,
it was something like that.
Yeah, in terms of the game being worth it, it's completely objective. I personally love the way it looks on Switch, and the fact that I can just stand it and then play with a friend of mine. If you have friends that are into fighting games, it's definitely a good go-to, like a party or something, and body someone in a classic fighter. And I mean, with lack of good fighting games on Switch at the moment,
where's Pocket Rumble?
Yeah, where's Pocket Rumble? Second time we're gonna talk about it. It's definitely a good go-to.
Well, also, Street Fighter 2 is arguably, if not the greatest fighting game of all time.
The most influential.
Yeah, it's one of the best fighting games. And now you have that portable. And it's not like a GBA port or a PSP port. It's kind of like the full-fledged deal. And they added some really cool modes in here, such as, you can now customize the colors of your characters. And if you have a really creative imagination, like I do, you can create some really odd choices for characters.
My Bowser M. Bison.
I created a Bowser M. Bison, a Jill Valentine Cammy, and an undead tribe of fighters. Akuma,
Zombie Ryu,
and I even created an Oni styled Violent Ken, and that is awesome. And I let my imagination run too much in that color creator. How have your experiences been with these extra modes, Matt?
I mean, the color creator is just if you want to make a character, do it in handheld. You can just use your finger, and because if you want to make a character and you're in docked, it takes forever to move it from left to right all the way across the spectrum, and even with light and dark, it takes forever.
It takes forever. That I have to agree with. I don't know why it takes so long. Usually in games when you're doing a color palette, they give you a little circle, and you can just scale it so easily. I don't know why in this game it's literally you're moving a legitimate hair per color choice. So it takes you longer than it should, honestly.
Way longer.
There's some other cool modes, such as Way of the Hotto.
Oh boy, we're getting into it now.
If you want to call that cool, personally to me...
I'm offended.
It was advertised as something really interesting, where you can throw, in quotes, real-life Hadoukens, and Shoryukens, and Tatsu, Tatsus. I played it. That was the first mode I cracked open Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, period, and then, and then I clicked Way of the Hatto. I wanted to throw a Hadouken, and the first thing I did was throw in a Hadouken. It felt pretty good.
Yeah.
But then, this is where it gets nasty. Then they're like, Shoryukens and Tatsus. I'm like, oh, those are cool moves too. Let's try it. I was like, all right. And then what they're telling me is angle the left Joy-Con to 75 degrees, and just raise your right arm all the way up. And I'm like, Shoryuken? And just Ryu's just sitting there, Hadouken. I'm like, no, it's not how it works. And they're like, all right, learn how to do the Tatsu. So you kind of have to do a Cabbage Patch motion.
Yeah, literally.
And I'm just sitting there with two Joy-Cons. They're like, come on, where's the Tatsu? And you just see Ryu do Hadouken.
Did you go into the training first?
Yeah, I tried it a little bit. And
you didn't go into the training, then go into the stages?
Please, I don't need training. I've been playing fighting games for like the past.
When it comes to motion controls, you need the training.
What was your experience?
Okay, no one bought it. No one bought it for Way of the Hadu. Let's be real here. It's just kind of an added bonus, and I think they were just kind of toying with the idea. At first, I was like, this is a little bit on the non-responsive side. Hadoukens came out fine.
Mm-hmm.
Shurikens were like pretty 40-60, and the Tetsu's cabbage patch and nothing happened. What I did find out, though, is that, like, besides the Shoryuken, for the Tetsu and the Hadouken, you just keep your wrists together, and it makes it a lot easier.
I gotta try that now.
It's a lot more responsive. Overall, M. Bison's a dick if you don't have any up stats, because he just dicks you, but...
Also, people have been saying that, you know how Street Fighter 2 has been around for 50,000 generations of versions of that game. People also thought that the Way of the Hado was like the Switch exclusive. Why they have this game. I don't know if the color palettes or anything were in the other ones, like Turbo Remix that came out.
Maybe. I'm not really sure.
People have been saying, well, maybe since Way of the Hado is in there, it's a Switch exclusive, and it's going to definitely pull in some revenue. No, not at all. Not at all.
It is not a game seller. Like, it's just marketed to those people who are like, hey, you like Street Fighter, right? Yeah. And it's like, well, now you can have it on the go with 2, in these quotes here, new characters.
Yeah, 2 new characters. I really like Violent Ken a lot, because I'm a Ken guy over here.
Script.
But... Take that back. But Evil Ryu's cool. I can't for the life of me do Raging Demon. Somebody help me out there. I even looked in the input things, and I'm trying to do it. Got no clue. No clue. Also, just to mention, before we move on to the next topic, the art book is fantastic.
It is.
Matt was looking through it before we started filming here, and it's so nice. They show games up to Street Fighter 4 or Ultra Street Fighter 4. I'm not sure what version, but you see Puzzle Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, the Alpha games. It's really well done, and I think I sat there for an hour just looking at the art book.
Those scans are beautiful. Like,
it's in Japanese, too.
The detail, yes, it's incredible.
As for me, is Street Fighter 5 worth it? Or, sorry, Street Fighter 2.
That's
Ultra
a whole
Street
different
Fighter
story.
2. The Final Challengers?
The Final Challengers Turbo HD Remix.
It's a long name, guys. Guys and girls, it's a long name. I think it's worth it. I put almost 10 hours into this game already, and I've been wrecking people online, including Matt.
Boy, it was the closest bout I've ever had in a fighting game.
It's really good. Street Fighter, the series in general, is always one of those games where it's like, oh, are you good at fighting games? And I'm like, oh, I'm alright. Usually a beginner could pick Ryu, and they're, mostly everybody can throw a Hadouken. It's the quarter circle
punch.
Yeah, quarter circle punch.
Most basic.
I think it's a good entry point, especially like what Matt said with the lack of fighters on the Switch aside from the Neo Geo games. It's totally worth it, in my opinion.
I'll say it's worth it if you have people to play it with.
Yeah, if you're not... Matt and I have a history with fighting games, and more so me.
Yeah, more so.
I do really like fighting games. I can play them almost whenever. Tekken is my favorite game. I've probably put over hundreds of hours into that whole series. So, to me, I love fighting games because I can just sit in training and honestly just play like an hour or 2 in just training.
My thing about fighting games is that I love them to death, and it's just like, I just can't... It's so hard to like gain skill in them.
Okay.
Besides like Smash Bros. That's like my only thing, claim to fame.
Yeah, so that Street Fighter 2, worth it, in my opinion.
I'll give it a thumbs up. Maybe not Hadouken thumbs up, but
just don't play Way of the Hado. So, on to topic number 2. This is another Capcom related topic.
Here we go.
Monster Hunter XX, or is considered 20? It's not, because Monster Hunter is not 20. It's just like I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Monster Hunter XX. It's announced for the Nintendo Switch. Capcom said, hear me out, everybody. Capcom said, this is really bad on Capcom's part. We're going to gauge the success of Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, and see how good that does, and then we will decide, how much are we going to support the Switch.
It hurts.
Ooh, Capcom. Why? Why pick a game? Not that Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, is a bad game by any means.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's Street Fighter 2. We've had this game around for years. Like I was saying, there's so many remakes, so many whatevers. Not everybody's going to want to be like, oh, Street Fighter, yeah, bye.
Like, it's such a bad idea for Capcom to be like, hey, we're going to gauge our success off a port. A port.
A port that's a sequel, technically. A sequel to port.
Quote, unquote.
Yeah.
But, like, all that's new, really new, is, like...
2 fighters and a really bad motion.
The 2 fighters are just taken from other games and put in the engine.
Yeah.
Which is a complaint I do have about Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Old Street Fighter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have brought more characters in.
Matt had a really good idea, and I don't want to keep harping on Street Fighter, but he had a good deal that they should have brought, like, Alpha, and even I thought, like, it would be cool to see, like, Jerry Han or somebody from, like, 5 and 4, or 4 and 5,
Rainbow Mika.
into this game, yeah, and kind of, you know, it's Street Fighter 2 with the characters you know, but we're adding the new generation into it.
I feel like if they really took, like, say if they added, like, at least, like, 3 or 4 completely, like, new characters to it, you know what I mean?
To the core game, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, they can be from other games, but, like, Evo Ryu and Violent can feel more like just slight tweaks, and
yeah,
it's just...
It's almost like a reskin, kind of.
But anyway, coming back to the point, you should not be gauging the success off a port. Rather, it should be a completely, like, done from the bottom. Like, make a new Mega Man.
Yeah.
Fully 3D. Mega Man Legends 3. Put it on Switch, then gauge success. And I guarantee you will want to support that console.
Revive that game that was supposed to be on 3DS, the Mega Man Legends 3. Also, I was telling some of my other friends, where's Okami? Where's Beautiful Joe?
Okami.
God Hand, even a Resident Evil spinoff. Something new would totally help with the Switch, regardless of what game it is. So, again, Street Fighter, bad choice to gauge off of this. However, Monster Hunter is one of Capcom's biggest IP.
Yeah.
And it's been exclusive for Nintendo for a very long time now. It used to be on PlayStation and the
there was like a PSP one.
Yeah, it was PSP, PlayStation 2, I believe.
Yeah, PlayStation 2.
And then it started becoming exclusive with Monster Hunter Tri.
On the Wii.
On the Wii.
Yeah.
And it came with its own classic controller, Pro Controller, whatever it was called at the time. And that just went over big. Then they made the Wii U one. Then they made Monster Hunter X. They made Monster Hunter Generations, Monster Hunter 4, and they just keep going.
And it bothers me because like it's one of those series like I want to get into it, and it's like you just. I mean, yeah, I bought Monster Hunter 3 on 3DS, and I was like, I'm gonna try this out, and it just felt so weird because that was back when you didn't have a second C stick on your 3DS, and camera controls. It's like it is the D-pad.
Even with the C stick or the eraser tip or whatever you want to call it on the new 3DS, it's a weird game because you really need friends. And even though I have some friends that do like Monster Hunter, we've only tried it a handful of times, and I never got that into it to where I could fight the awesome looking monsters. Monster Hunter always sold me, and I'm gonna buy the Switch one again.
Oh, same.
But it always sells me on how they design those monsters. They are like Jurassic Park meets Crazy Dragons, and it's the coolest stuff ever. I really want to get good at that game, and I think it being on Switch with the dual analog sticks and all that stuff, it's going to be really smooth, and the graphics are probably going to look amazing for that game.
They make magic on that console. Have you seen like Mario Kart 8 in handheld?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's insane.
Also, with the Switch being very popular, this is kind of a third-party thing as well. Third-party companies are now starting to take a big interest in the Switch. You have all these companies. When it had that really bad show in like January, remember the guy for EA came out and it's like FIFA.
Stop.
And you even had
Suda51 come out.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're making a game.
Travis Touchdown.
Travis. Look at Travis. Nothing else on this game.
And if you didn't know who Travis Touchdown is, unfortunately, you're still sitting there with the biggest blank over your head.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Because Travis Touchdown is from No More Heroes, a series I really need to play. Hopefully it all comes over to the Switch as like a 3-pack, right? Because there's been only 2 games, I think?
Yeah.
I would love that.
We can only wish.
I would love that. And maybe you can use the motion controls, because if...
yeah, I mean, the Joy-Cons are capable.
ARMS does really good with that, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, I hope more third parties do come. I hope Capcom learns to not only gauge off of... not to gauge off of Street Fighter 2. I would love Resident Evil 4, one of my favorite games ever.
Resi 4.
Just port it to the Switch. Try and port Resident Evils or Beautiful Joe or Okami or something new, and try and see how good those go over a Street Fighter port that's been ages old.
Yeah. The thing about third party is, like, if you look at the Wii U, everyone was on board at the beginning. Like before launch, everyone was like, let's go. Then the launch hit, and they're like, now we have something where not too many companies... Well, you had a decent amount of companies on Switch before launch, because, a lot of people are presumptuous because what the Wii U did. Now, afterwards, we have all third parties rushing to Nintendo being like, put our games on here, because they know it's going to sell.
You have, like, Cave Story, right?
Cave Story comes out next month.
Cave Story, Sonic Forces, which we talked about last week.
Cars 3 is coming out.
Cars 3, a Disney interactive game, right? That's what it's based on? That's who it is? Yeah. Trying to think what other games. You got the Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 coming out in the fall. You have... There's a couple others, too.
I mean, there's the Shin Megami Tensei. There's the game that got announced today from Square Enix, Project Octopath Traveler. I'm still waiting for that.
A lot of Atlas, Square Enix, these are good companies you want on Switch because they do have a grand selection of IP. Look at Bravely Default. That was a game where I personally didn't think it was going to do that good, and people are going nuts about it. Some are saying that it's better than Final Fantasy now because it's just so popular.
Get that heresy talk out of here.
Hopefully Bravely Default or a collection or something comes to the Switch. But who knows? It's doing pretty good on the 3DS over there. So, to our main topic. This is a big one.
Your main topic.
It's a big one. I'm mostly going to be doing the talking on this, and then I do have a little bit at the end of the topic. So, as I stated on our first podcast episode, Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia Echoes comes out the day after we recorded that episode. I got it. Matt got it too. Matt, you said you only played a little bit of it, right?
I played past the first fighting sequence.
Yeah, so Matt only played a little bit. I put maybe about almost 15 hours into that game.
My backlog is so bad.
I am damn near impressed, everybody. This Fire Emblem, to me, from the ones I've played, I started with Awakening. Awakening blew my mind. I loved it. I played it, the crap out of it. And then Fates came out. I played Birthright, most of Conquest. I'm like a mission or two away from beating that.
I'll get there one.
Revelation, did not touch, because I heard a lot of it's just rehashing of the same thing. So, I also own Path of Radiance, which I haven't played yet.
I was there for that.
I was really lucky and I got that, but that's a story for another day. So, Fire Emblem Echoes, it's awesome. Now, I always heard Fire Emblem 2 or whatever this is. I think this is Fire Emblem.
This is 2, yeah.
It's Fire Emblem 2. It was something grand and something really excellent. And when Shadows of Valentia was announced, I kind of shrugged it off as, well, maybe this could be the Fire Emblem I don't play this year.
Really?
Like I'll get to it, but it'll be later on.
Wow.
And me being a big Fire Emblem fan, probably one of my favorite Nintendo IP, maybe I'd even put it next to Metroid, everybody. I know.
Audible gasp.
The gasp. This game is really something else. I have a couple things I'd like to talk about it. There are some weird things. So, since it is Fire Emblem 2, technically, it's kind of a remake, but not so much of a remake, just kind of a...
maintaining core mechanics,
yeah,
but redoing the graphics and everything.
We're redoing the graphics, but keeping what was, at the time, still there.
Yeah, what was the norm for those games?
So, there's no more weapon triangle in this game. There's no marriage system. There is no kind of upgrade golden seals, which you usually would need to upgrade your units with in this game.
Okay.
In this game, however, I really like how they use upgrading. So you have soldiers. There's a couple cool characters. Almost every character in this game, I just want to take a side note, almost every character in this game I actually love.
Really?
Awakening and even Fate's pick your version, I didn't like a lot of the characters. Like, you had the core, like, cover characters, like Camilla, and you had, like...
The waifu.
Hinoka, and all those people. And they're cool. But, in this game, Celica and the two main characters, they're really cool.
They're really well designed, too.
But they're supporting characters. I almost care for more than Celica and
Really?
Yes. This is like one of the first games where the supporting characters, if I was playing and if I was manly enough to actually do permadeath, I think I'd legitimately cry if I lost some of these characters.
I mean, like, when I played Conquest, which I still have to beat, I didn't care for Corrin. The story about it was good.
Thank you.
The whole, like, yeah, he's a dragon, and that's cool. But, like, shallow as a protagonist.
I feel that way with Robin too. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because and Celica, they have backstories.
They seem more fleshed out.
They are characters, and I really care for them. The story is, from what I've played, about 15 hours into this game, oh my gosh, I can see this being really something I could probably, like, weep about.
For that beginning cutscene,
yeah,
I literally was like, this is going to be a game. Not going to spoil it.
Yeah,
but
not going to spoil it.
Beginning cutscene, something happens.
There are these two characters, and it's kind of a coming-of-age story, it seems like, a little bit. And then you, like, venture out. If you go back and forth between Celica and you kind of join the Deliverance, they call it, and you're going to fight because your grandfather or something like that was an old-time warrior, but you kind of want to run away from home and, like, you know, breach and finally grow up kind of deal. And with Celica, she's technically like a priestess or kind of a princess kind of deal, and she has her own set of mages, and they go to travel, and and Celica meet up here and there, from what I've played so far, and almost everything is just, oh my gosh, it's so good. They added dungeon crawling.
Yes.
This is what Fire Emblem needed.
So much, yes.
They turn into like a third-person action kind of deal.
Because, see, like, one of my big things when I played Conquest was when you can, like, assess your base and everything, you can do, like, a first-person, or not, third-person view. And you're standing there in your 3D model. It looks good. I'm like, why can't I walk around like this?
Yeah.
And then, when they were like, when I saw that trailer during the Direct and I saw them moving, I'm like, this is what I wanted. Even when you first start up the game, like, your and Celica's right over there. You walk over to her.
Yeah.
In 3D, and it's beautiful.
That is awesome. Especially what Matt was saying. When you go to your quarters in Conquest or Birthright or Revelations, again, pick your game, you see these, and I was taken back by this. You see, there was a marriage system in the Fates games, and when you invited somebody into your quarters, whether it be a friend or the love interest,
it was always Camilla.
You saw these like 2D sprites, but they moved so fluidly, and it really took me back. I was like,
it was a little freaky for me, not gonna lie.
It is weird. I don't know how they did it. Well, I know how they did it, but I was like. You know, bravo, because it's something new. And I feel like every game since I played Awakening first, again, my first Fire Emblem, and then you play Fates, and I'm like, okay, I see where you're going. Maybe the story wasn't that great for Fates, whatever you want to say, but the stuff they added, like you can build your own fort, which was awesome. You have the cool interactions in your keep or whatever that's called. You can customize your Corrin and Robin. You know, whatever, it's cool. Personally, after playing Shadows of Valentia, I really hope they just kind of stick with a character, like and Celica. It works really well. Back to what I was saying, I got on off track a little bit before. When you're upgrading your characters, you used to get golden seals. And
I remember that.
You would take them, I forget where exactly you would take them. But
and then, would upgrade their class, right?
Yeah, you can pick like Assassin or whoever.
I remember I did that for like a couple of my troops.
And in this game, they fight, and when they get like, I guess it's like a form of inner spirit or whatever, it's like, oh, you can now upgrade your class at the statue of Milla. And Milla's technically like the goddess that kind of watches over the land.
Okay. And
you go to the shrine, and like they pray to the statue or whatever.
Right.
And you can change your class. And it happens really frequent. Like, I have a whole bunch of different people than I think I've ever upgraded in the past games because it's so fast. And it really helps. And mages also in this game, they're your trump card. Keep all the mages. Celica OP, better than you heard it here first.
Really?
Yeah.
I honestly, like, just objectively speaking, looking at the characters, I like Alm's design more than Celica. I feel like Celica is just too basic.
Also, based on the story, there's some stuff where I feel like their designs go back and forth from what they say in cutscenes.
Really?
So if you pay attention to, like, in the beginning, there's something Celica does to and Am's like, no, I don't want to look like that. Then when you see him when he's older, he has something, and I'm just like...
Oh, I know what you're talking about, too.
And it's really good. I love... It could be within my top 5 favorite games of this year.
Oh.
I feel it.
We're not even halfway in the year.
I know. It's
almost.
It's so good. It's so good. The dungeon crawling good. The praying is awesome. Like I said, probably one of my favorite Fire Emblems, if not my favorite that I've played so far. It's so good. It's so good. So on the topic of Fire Emblem, we're still in the main topic here.
Oh boy.
I really liked Hyrule Warriors. Matt really liked Hyrule Warriors.
I love that game.
Later this year, we're getting Fire Emblem Warriors, a Musu hack and slash, just all-out Fire Emblem game. Now, these games are really cool, especially since what I've seen with the Hyrule Warriors. It almost seems like it's an anniversary game, so they like celebrate it with like all these different characters.
Yeah.
My boy Chrom is in it. Chrom is one of my favorite characters from a Nintendo game.
I mean, he was the front man for the trailer.
If I had my camera on, I have a poster of Chrom on my wall.
Yep.
And I love it.
Where's your Tharja?
Because I know I need Tharja. Because Chrom is awesome. But there are also thousands. Maybe not thousands.
Okay.
But there are a lot of cool...
Multiple hundreds.
There's a lot of cool Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah. And
to see the ones that will come into Warriors, you gotta admit, you're probably gonna see almost all the cover characters.
Yeah, that's a given.
You're probably gonna see Camilla, you're gonna see Chrom, obviously. You're gonna see Lucina, Lynn, Kane, all these different people. This is where it gets really exciting, though, because they have really cool side characters. And like I said, even in Shadows of Valentia, there's awesome characters. So who knows what they're gonna pick? Obviously, Matt, we're on the team Camilla.
Camilla. Well, she's already confirmed.
Is she confirmed?
I'm pretty sure.
Obviously, I would assume so.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting how she plays, because she is a wyvern rider. Like she's not gonna be standing on her feet. It's gonna be.
Maybe she will be. Who knows?
I know it's gonna be so interesting. I'm really excited for this game.
Curious to see how they're gonna handle the mechanics, how they're gonna handle the how they're gonna make a story mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fire Emblem's very always complex.
Yeah.
So it's like they could do a lot with it. Like, because like looking at Hyrule Warriors, I'm like, wow, they brought in like so much stuff,
and it's a good story.
Yeah, it was a good story.
It was really good.
It was fluent. Honestly, a couple of like cover characters I want to see, Ryoma and Xander. Okay.
My boy Ryoma.
Honestly, I do like Ryoma's design more than Xander, but like Xander was my boy in Conquest. Like he was like my front man. But no, like the like chemistry with those two characters, especially towards each other.
I love it.
It's so like tense, but it's like I don't know, like it's really hard to explain.
You gotta wonder. Maybe they'll do like what they do with Fire Emblem Heroes, the iPhone and Smart App, whatever it's called, the application on your phones. It's kind of a fan fiction kind of deal where they take, okay, we're gonna go into Ike's world, the Radiant King's world or whatever, and we're gonna have Ike fight you, and then he's gonna say his sorriness because he was under a spell or something. I wonder if they're gonna make Fire Emblem Warriors where it's like the Nor and then the Hashido are versing the Radiant King's world, which is Ike, or like if there's gonna be sides. This is gonna be so interesting. Like Matt said, there's so many ideas they can pick on Fire Emblem to where who knows where it's gonna go.
So who are some good side characters you want? Oh, here we go.
Rubbing my hands together.
Cracks knuckles.
All right. First off, Tharja. Adder. Right. the Dark Princess or whatever. She was awesome.
Seductress.
Yeah, she was amazing in Awakening. I had her in my party like 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Saber from Shadows of Valentia. Every time he's behind Celica, I'm like, this is my guy. He's gonna take me to safety. He has the eye patch. I gave him like a shadow sword. He's badass. He's like a mercenary. When you first meet him, he goes, I don't know waters or something like that. Awesome guy. So that's 2. Let me try and think of a cool Fates character. A side character. There was Hana from Birthright. She was really cool. And then you also had Silas. Silas was like your boy.
I like Silas. You're missing a big one that you always talk about.
Lon Kuei?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Lon Kuei, when I got him in Fire Emblem Heroes, everyone, I think I squealed.
Yeah, probably.
Because I was like, he was another one who was always with me in Awakening, and I was like, come on. And then I finally got him in Heroes the other day, and I was like, oh my god, Lon Kuei. Oh, he's a bronze. I was like, oh, son of a... You know, but I got to try and build him up. Lon Kuei, so cool. He has a really weird name. Some people prefer Lon Ku, Lon Kuei, Lon Q, Lon Kui. I don't know. If you know, please, comment section below. Help me educate my, language barriers.
Viewer base. Everyone needs to learn.
There's a lot of cool Fire Emblem characters.
It's true.
So, that has me excited, Warriors. It's probably one of my most anticipated Nintendo games this year. I'm going to put hours into that game. And if it has multiplayer, which I really hope it does, not just local, I would love for like Matt and I to play and we
that would be
go ham or something. And the graphics look really good.
If they look honestly, if they just like looked like Hyrule Warriors and like ran
60 frames.
Yeah, 60, then it'd be ideal.
The one thing I don't like about it is that it is coming out for the new 3DS, which kind of halts its production or whatever, I would think, for the Switch. Yeah, it's one of those new 3DS games, just like Xenoblade.
That's the only one.
I know. That was a great upgrade, too.
I bought it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I think it's going to be like Hyrule Warrior Legends, where they're going to sacrifice a lot.
Well, Hyrule Warriors Legends, they learned their lesson because it was a normal 3DS game. And I heard if you play it on the 3DS...
If you play it on a launch 3DS...
It's like 2 frames.
It's the worst thing ever.
It's really bad.
It is.
And I own it on the 3DS, the new 3DS. And it works good, but I honestly wish I kept my Wii U copy. Because it looked better, it felt better. I put a lot of hours into it in Legends. I just can't get into it because I think it's the graphics. Like, I know what it could look like. And the fact that I'm playing it like... the 3DS.
You spoiled yourself.
Yeah, I was like, dang it. I didn't even unlock any of the cool characters aside from Linkle. She's really cool. And then the final part of the main topic is Fire Emblem 2018.
Oh.
This is the big Fire Emblem. It's finally the first console Fire Emblem since Radiant Dawn.
Yeah,
on the Wii, which I still need, and it just keeps scaling in price. Any opinions on what you think this is going to be?
Oh, I mean, like, since it's Switch, and, like, we're getting in 2018, and, like, this is the new, like, home console Fire Emblem, they're going to go all out.
It's so hard to imagine what is going to look like on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing Fire Emblem for 3 games now. Awakening, Fates, and Shadows of Valentia, and I know what to expect when I'm going to look at it. So seeing a full-fledged console Switch...
We're not ready.
What about if it's like... What I was hoping is they were going to do a collection in HD, redone graphics, make an easy mode, so noobs like me don't have to cry when they lose their units. But maybe not. Maybe it'll be in the virtual console for Switch.
And that's perfectly fine, too.
Yeah, that's cool.
As long as you get GameCube Virtual Console.
Fire Emblem 2018. When they said they're making one for the Switch, I'm like, I'm on board. Instantly. I'm going to buy that collector's edition. I'm going to scour the internet to try and get the collector's edition. I need it.
We both struggled to get that Shadows of Valentia.
The Shadows of Valentia one was rough, and I just got by with the Fates one.
I still hate you over that, Fates. I'm so jealous.
And that makes me really happy.
Because I was not into Fire Emblem at the time, and I regret everything.
So just picturing what Fire Emblem could look like, full-blown console.
And, like, from what we know, it's not like a remake. Like, this is entirely
it's a
new.
brand new story.
So we're gonna have new characters and new story and like probably a new engine because it has to run on Switch and like.
I'm excited what it's going. It's same with what is a new Metroid gonna look. What is an F-Zero gonna? Kid Icarus. Anything that we haven't seen aside from even Mario Odyssey looks cool, but it looks familiar. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's what they play off of though. That magic.
But watch we're gonna be talking about this in another episode. In our next episode, it's gonna be E3 predictions. But what if we almost don't recognize it because of the graphics? Like. It's going to be something cool.
People said the same thing about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about it. Breath of the Wild had like the Skyward Sword Wind Waker cell shadedness, but it was something new. But
it still felt like. I mean, it was loose in my opinion, but like I knew I was playing Zelda.
Yeah.
But like that's what I mean. Like I think that they're taking this whole direction of we can make these games bigger and better and change things, but still have the core game there, and people will love it. Breath of the Wild is considered a masterpiece to a lot of review sites.
Well, what I was talking to Matt about, and I'm not going to even go into it in this episode because I really want to talk about this in our next episode.
Yeah.
But, just throwing this out here, what about if every new IP they make, now not all of them, but I'm saying they're big ones, what if they make them as progressively new and different as Breath of the Wild? Could we be walking into Fire Emblem next year and it is a whole new ball game? Maybe it's hack and slash mixed with the turn-based. Maybe it's like you drop down into the field and, instead of turn-based, you take control of that character and you fight. That would add a whole new element to multiplayer. Could you picture that? It's like chess, but then it's like brawl.
I was about to say, don't get too ahead of yourself. I mean, like, we did know about Breath of the Wild back when Switch was NX. I mean, this thing's been in the making. Because they knew they had it. But, like, the thing is, after making that, they're like, wow, look what we did to this. Like, it's not like Zelda was dead at all.
No.
It was maybe in a little bit of a lull, because the last mainstay was Skyward Sword, and that was a split between the fan base. But, like, Breath of the Wild blew everything out of the water.
Took everybody by storm. Arguably, aside from how you may look at the games that came out this year, I personally think I really like Persona 5. Persona 5 is excellent. Probably one of my favorite games this year. If I really compare it to Breath of the Wild, I don't think any game this year, aside from Mario Odyssey, could beat this.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is one of the games that I think changed the way I looked at video games. It's become a huge... How do you do it? How do you play a game that you just start and you're like, alright, get across the pond. I jump up, climb a thing. Wait, how would I know how to do that? That's the whole trick of that video game.
That's what I love about it. There's no hand-holding.
I love it. It is the best.
There's no fies, no friggin' fairy bullshit.
Hey, listen!
But, like, that game, like, engrossed me. And, like, my whole ish right now is, like, I can't really find games that do that.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda did it, and I was just...
Everybody that plays that game, and I hope Nintendo learns from Breath of the Wild, and I'm pretty sure they have.
Yeah.
Even with the DLC coming out later this year.
That's right, we have a story coming.
I hope we play Zelda. We better be able to play Zelda. But who knows
Breath of the Wild, Zelda,
where these other IP are going to end up. Is it going to end up like Breath of the Wild, where it's a whole new turn of events, and you're playing a familiar IP for the first time, technically, because of this new mechanic? Who knows? They done it with Metroid Prime.
That's true.
Everybody was so used to 2D games, and they're like, yo, here we go. First person. Scanning everything.
I mean, Nintendo's always been good at taking risks. It's just kind of their thing.
So we're both very excited for what Fire Emblem has, what Nintendo has to have. But that's it for the main topic. Very Fire Emblem heavy, I know.
Finally made it past it.
Fire Emblem is so good, everybody. I love that series to death.
Such a meaty subject.
On to our next topic. There was a leaked game that... It's honestly the worst kept secret in video games from a very long time. It's the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle was leaked. Now, when this game was shown, or it stumbled across my Twitter, it's weird.
It is.
Mario's having like a Mega Buster thing, and it's like... there's Rabbids cosplaying as Nintendo characters, and there's a Rabbid selfieing as Peach, and
that's the worst one.
And then the most badass thing is Yoshi holding the banana bazooka thing, and this game's all over the place.
Yeah. From one screenshot, this is like all like of the mixed feelings.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's one of those games where I remember there was always mumbles about it. So
way before launch.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel about it. Rabbids, I played the first one, the very first Rabbids game on the Wii, years ago. And I remember when everybody thought Rabbids were cool for like that game.
They were cool.
That game or two.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It was like the Minions.
Oh god.
Everybody was like, Minions, they're so cool when they first came. Oh my god, they're so cute. I hated them. I still hate them. They made a movie about it. They made a Rabbids TV show. Guess who watched that? Nobody. That's why it's not. That's why it's not on Nickelodeon or whatever anymore.
Okay, to be fair, the characters themselves do have some charm.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the sound waves. I remember I had this game where a little rabbit was in your Wiimote.
Oh yeah, and you
could shake it around and it changes color. It was like $5. It was fun.
Yeah.
And you could hear him in the speaker, and he was like yelling at you.
What?
But I think they were like, rabbits are losing it. We have to make them more zany. And then it all just kind of lost. It all just went downhill from there.
Yeah, the Rabbids are quite interesting.
Yeah,
especially, I don't know why Nintendo paired up with Ubisoft for this kind of deal. I don't know why Ubisoft, they gave Ubisoft the okay to use Mario and stuff like that.
I'm sure Nintendo's close to that project.
Yeah.
They're not just going to let someone use Mario like that.
Rumor has it that this game is turn-based, but also there were some leaked screens, but they are using, today's language. So I think it had, hashtags and stuff in it, which is kind of weird. I don't want to say what other people have been saying about this game, but Nintendo, usually when you go back and play their games, they're always, fresh, right? I don't want that to be with this game where it's kind of like you go back and play and you're like, ew. What is this?
The things that get me is when you go to play a game and you're like, yeah, I remember, and they try to take in pop culture and it's like, wow, these things were cool at the time. That's the whole thing about Nintendo. They're timeless.
Yeah.
And when you start kind of taking those mainstream media ideas and stuff like that, incorporating, it's perfectly fine as long as you don't overdo it.
Yeah.
And in 10 years, people are going to look at this and be like, they used hashtags in this. That was a thing.
Look at games like Watch Dogs 2 and games like Sunset Overdrive. I feel like they're really built within today's pop culture.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2.
I love Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive is fantastic. It's a great Xbox game.
Xbox on our Nintendo podcast.
I know, gasp.
Heresy.
Watch Dogs 2, it's weird. Because the first time I played Watch Dogs, which came out years ago, and it was really bad. It was the first time I saw people taking selfies. And who knows in a couple years or 10 years if we're even going to have front-facing cameras anymore. It could be something completely new. Kids are going to be like, hey, Dad, what is this? It's something weird.
I mean, they do that now when they bring an Atari joystick to their dad.
Yeah.
Where's the camera stick? Where are the triggers? How do I play Call of Duty on this?
Oh gosh.
What are those graphics? They just look like dots. That's literally.
But back to Mario and Rabbids. I think this game could work if they do it well.
Yeah.
It's really the Rabbids that scare me.
Because they kind of just.
They were gone for a long time, maybe 3 or 4 years.
I feel like Rabbids is definitely one of those things that if they put their shit stick into a certain IP and they just stir it enough, they can ruin it.
Yeah,
I'm hoping Nintendo is just.
I hope they have a lot of.
I hope they're breathing down Ubisoft's neck without this game.
I don't want to see Mario do something stupid because Mario doesn't seem like he's that Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach. They're very clean characters, and what I mean by that is you know what they're going to do or what their boundaries are as characters. I don't want to see them go all out.
I mean, not gonna lie though, I kind of want to see Yoshi shooting bazookas at people.
Oh yeah,
that does seem kind of badass.
That's going to be pretty awesome. But it's I don't want to see Mario screaming like a rabbit or anything. I don't want that to happen.
It's so touch and go on this. I want to believe but like I wanted to believe in Sonic Boom, and I just knew I couldn't. This is different. It's so 50-50. I really don't know.
From the poster, it seems like the characters all look familiar. Like Yoshi looks like Yoshi, Mario looks like Mario, which I'm happy. They didn't do a Sonic Boom
They do
treatment.
look kind of a little redone, but like...
They look simplified.
They look more childish.
Like Mario's head, it's weird me saying this, it looks a bit rounder. Something about the design, it looks almost too clean.
Yeah.
Especially after seeing Mario in Odyssey, where he has like those individual hairs, and which all look amazing. It's going to be weird seeing a Mario really simplified like this, but who knows? The gameplay, probably it's going to be shown at E3, and it may knock our socks off. So
let's hope.
Who knows about that one?
I mean, if you have a good campaign, you have good multiplayer, it could be a go-to title, but
it really could. But also, it could just be not for the adult audience. It could be one of those Nintendo kid games.
I feel like it's gonna be a bargain bin.
It's gonna be Hey Pikmin, like.
Yeah.
Who's looking forward to Hey Pikmin?
Man.
Well, no. It's what I'm saying is, Hey Pikmin looks like one of those games where it's not catered toward us. Like Pikmin is catered toward us.
Hey Pikmin doesn't even seem like it's catered to Pikmin fans.
Yeah, it's just something simplified.
Yeah,
and we're gonna take Olimar, even if Olimar's in that game. Maybe it's Alf. I don't know.
No, he is. He's in there.
And they're kind of just taking like the cutesy Pikmin, because Pikmin are really cool. I really like their design. Never got into the series.
Really quirky.
But it seems like they're trying to grab younger generations of these kids to enjoy Pikmin or get into Pikmin, because it's a weird real-time strategy kind of game, right?
Yeah.
And I remember trying it when I was much younger, and it was so strange.
It's like you have to like guide. I played like a very little bit of Pikmin 1. Like you have to like guide them to like, you need a certain amount of Pikmin to move this, and then like to fight this, you need a certain amount of Pikmin. And you have to manage Pikmin. It's kind of like playing an RTS. You're kind of right. I never actually thought about it like that, but like, yeah.
It's really weird. The bottle caps are so strange. It's one of the weirdest games to me because, like I said, I always look at it and I'm like, Pikmin, I like them. Olimar, he's really cool. Even Alf from Pikmin 3. I was like, these characters.
I like Alf more than Olimar.
I agree. He's like open eyes and.
I feel bad. It's like someone out there. Like, Pikmin to them is Metroid to you. And they're probably like, man, my favorite series, and it's getting this. But to be fair, there was like a news a while back about how Pikmin 4 was like pretty much almost done. But like a while ago.
Yeah, Pikmin 4 I think is probably coming out for the Switch.
Gonna dump it right onto it.
Because I remember everybody's complaining, where's Pikmin 3? Nintendo made Pikmin 3. Then Pikmin 4 I heard was basically done.
Yeah.
Like you said. So we're probably going to get Pikmin maybe 3 and 4 in a bundle, because people have been wanting Pikmin 3 on Switch since it was a game that, unfortunately, not a lot of Wii U people or players out there.
Oh, that's right. It was on Wii U.
Yeah, exactly. Not a lot of people played Pikmin 3, so this is another chance to bring a good Wii U game over to Switch.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. I really like the Hey Pikmin amiibo that like rock with all the little Pikmin.
That's all I want.
I may actually buy that because I may buy that, everybody. I may buy that.
Where are my arms amiibo?
Speaking of arms.
Here we go.
The test punch. It was pretty great.
Pretty great, dude.
It was something once it was 8 o'clock our time over here, and I ran to my Switch to play. I pulled out the Joy-Con, set them up like the cool little punching animation thing.
I was ready.
And I played for a whole hour. Now, you didn't play the first night, right?
Did not play the first night. It was like 8 a.m. though, right?
It was 8 p.m. that Friday. You were working or something, right?
Friday.
Last Friday.
Yeah, I was working.
So, I played it, and it blew me away. I can't believe motion controls are good.
Considering Way of the Hado.
Considering the Way of the Hado. I haven't played 1-2 Switch. We both haven't played 1-2 Switch.
I just want to see how many balls are in the Joy-Con.
But it was so good. Curving the punches felt really natural, right? You agree? The characters, super charming. Even the ones that we didn't get to play, like Bark and Bite.
Sintel.
Sintel, Twintel, whatever her name is.
No, because Ediko was doing a stream, and he's like, that is a temptress, we call her Sintel.
Oh my god.
That's my new name for her.
But they did have Helix, which is the newest character that was announced into that roster or whatever.
Funny enough, first, like, get out of training, and I'm like, who am I picking?
Helix?
Helix. I tried it, and I'm like, this is weird.
They need to fix some things.
The Guardian. I had the Guardian.
Too.
It's supposed to, like, destroy, or, like, it's like a shield, kind of.
And if you charge it, it goes electric.
Yeah, like, I was not feeling it, like, at first. But then, I was like, alright, let me go to something more basic. I'm gonna pick my boy Springman. Boy.
Feels natural, right?
I went online, and I was bodying people, dude. I can't tell you the last time I was, not even, like, pissed off. Like, just playfully, like, bantering with the TV against other people. I was like, yeah, boy, you gonna catch his arm. Like, I was just standing there, and it felt so, like, it felt like a kid.
Yeah, it's, the charm to that game is there.
It really
I'm surprised there was a V-Ball. I'm surprised there was Team Battle. I thought it was just going to be one-on-ones.
And I mean, you got different stages, too, which was pretty impressive.
How that lobby works is really nice. You kind of just float around. You can dance with your little icons.
Yeah. I love it.
There is a hidden way you can change your color. I did not know. Matt figured it out.
Hold left stick, and then just hold a direction while you're picking a character, and they'll change it for people who want it for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
For that.
I've tried it in all of its controls. I tried it in motion, which is by far the best.
I did not even try it in basic. I was having too much fun with motion.
I tried it in Pro Controller. I didn't get into it, really. And then I tried it in handheld. It's kind of the same deal. I think I really need to sit down and play it when the full game comes out, because I kind of don't want to ruin the beta experiences or the test punch experiences.
Just play it in motion controls while you have it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, motion, like, that's the thing. Like, most games, everyone's like, yeah, motion controls are in it, but, you know, standard control is best. This is that game. This is the motion controls are the way to play.
It's kind of like Splatoon. I'm not one of those people, but a lot of people use motion for Splatoon.
I can't.
I don't know how you can. I tried the beta or the test fire.
I was literally, as soon as I started that, I was looking for how to change it.
It was so weird, and I couldn't do it. But the motion controls in ARMS are so good. The one problem I do have is when you're picking your arms, if you watch the reveal footage, they told you what the arms do.
Yeah.
In the beta, it's kind of like pick and figure out.
Yeah.
And I really wish I could figure out what they did, honestly. Or there was a little description, but I basically picked it up and figured out what they do.
Yeah. I have two very big complaints.
What are they?
People who pick two tri-bolts, the three,
the gun
and just
kind of.
It's so bad. You get caught in a corner, you can literally just be done. And another thing, just grabbing.
Grabbing is the most. It's honestly, it kind of kills the game.
It's really OP. You can take you have what, maybe 2,000 health in the game,
something like that.
All right, you get grabbed. That's 200 health, and all it takes one punch.
You literally just pull out your arms and you go do the grab animation. I don't like that. And also, there was times where I was sitting there in 1v1. I knew people were going to grab me, and they would go do it, so I'd have to do it to block the punches. I'm like, I want to just play I want to actually throw punches.
Yeah, because
come on.
I had a whole match where this person was just grabbing me, and I was doing my best not to grab them back because, it's scummy.
Yeah.
And, I'm trying here, and he gets his ult, and he doesn't even use it, and he just grabs me again and kills me. And I'm like, dude.
It does also turn into one of these factors where I really like this as a fighting game fan. It comes into the fact if you're good, you can get around it, which I do like. Because everybody kept trying to grab me, and I would do a side dodge, and I'd either enter my ult, or I would just straight up, throw them punches and curve, and it would work. As a fighting game, this is doing it. It's selling me. It's who knows? This could be one of my new favorite fighting games. It's so cool.
I'm really liking it.
There's so much to explain and give an opinion on that it's probably going to have to wait till we both get the full game.
Definitely.
And really get in depth, because I'm curious who the champion is.
They actually showed him in the direct.
Oh,
you have to look more. He's like a jacked up Springman. It looks weird.
Maybe it's your dad or something.
Could you imagine?
Springman, I am your father.
But just closing off, what I really like about this game, which obviously it'll still yet to be seen when you go online after launch, but I feel like I can go online and I don't feel like everyone can just instantly body me. It feels fair.
Yeah, exactly. And personally for me, I'm not like this even in normal fighting games. I don't like heavy fighters. I feel like they're too slow. I played Mummy Master.
He's pretty fun.
And the diva, the machine.
Mechanica.
Yeah, the Tronbon kind
of
girl. And they felt heavy. And I was like, okay, this is like a normal fighting game. I pick Springman and Ribbon Girl. They work because it's how I play fighting games. It works like that too. I was blown away. So I have another question. On the topic of the test punch and splat or test fires we were talking about, does this help the game? Does it add interest? Do you think people are more inclined to, hey, I can try this game? Will I buy it? Do you think Nintendo should keep doing this?
Definitely.
I'm curious what other games they're going to use it for.
I mean, we don't really have any like massive online games coming besides ARMS and Splatoon. So, I mean, it's whatever. Maybe if we get some at E3, maybe we'll get a Smash Bros. Test fire.
Maybe there'll also be one for Hyrule Warrior or Fire Emblem Warriors if they do add multiplayer. Who knows?
Exactly.
As far as ARMS goes, I cannot wait to buy that game and play as Bark and Bite. How about you?
I give it 2 arms up, and I cannot wait to play as my bad waifu, Sintel, baby.
Oh, Sintel, Twintel. Oh,
and Nintendo, where are my arms, amiibo? Where are they?
I want that sweatshirt. You see those sweatshirts?
Yeah, with the spring arms.
Give me the Springman sweatshirt.
Nintendo, if you're listening, just hit us up.
Please.
Slide in our DMs, please.
So, this is a segment of our show where the guests and myself discuss the biggest and best thing that has happened to them in the past week in a video game. I'm gonna let Matt go first.
All right. Mine's kind of basic, but I kind of have 2 things. The first one was I was playing the Overwatch. I was playing Overwatch, trying to get those anniversary skins. And I was doing a 3v3, and I got this really, really nasty triple kill. And I'm gonna see if you can get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and figure out how to fit it in the video.
But I remember because I was playing Ryan, and there was another Ryan, a McCree, and a Mei. And the Ryan took off his shield, so I charged him, and the Mei iced behind him into her so she can heal. I hit him into that. He died. Then I turned around, smacked McCree. He died. And then I ran after the Mei, and she walled me, but I kind of slipped out of it. And then I hit her again, and I was about to get frozen. I just hit her one more time, and it was gone.
Team kill.
It's beautiful.
That's badass.
So, and then my second thing. It's not really a wow moment, but it's an unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
I am really liking Lego City Undercover.
I know. I really need that game.
I bought it, and I'm like, yeah, it's a Lego game, But I was I'm playing it more and more, and I'm like, wow, this is just a lot of fun.
Well, it's also, as I always say, as I've been wanting, I wanted a full-blown port of a console experience for handheld. And finally, since we have the glorious Nintendo Switch, they delivered that.
Yeah.
They gave it to us. And I, as a big Lego fan, I almost am surprised I don't own it yet. Because I missed it, too.
It's just the price point.
It should be $40, permanent.
Yeah, if you get it at $30 or $40, I cannot recommend this game enough. $60, I can't.
And without spoilers, you did find a cool Nintendo Easter egg.
Yes, I did.
He told me, and it's really cool.
They're really spread out. There are something you see a star balloon somewhere in the city.
Yeah.
Other things, but the thing I found was pretty cool.
He told me it's pretty rad. I'm not even gonna lie. I hope to find it when I finally get that game.
Yes.
So anything else? That's it?
This is all I got.
Overwatch would be a cool game on Switch. I don't know.
Just put that out there.
Yeah. Just to sum up that bit. So, I'd like to address a comment that I got in the last video.
Oh?
Our friend, Mike.
Oh.
We're not going to say last names.
Okay.
He mentioned, so, you said you didn't like Prime when it first came out.
Oh,
right?
boy.
I was like, okay, I explained it, blah, blah, blah. Mike, I'm very happy to say.
We love you, Mike.
I sat my caboose down and started playing Prime. Fully.
Listening to Metallica.
But while listening to Metallica. And I can't believe how metal that game is.
It's so metal.
Literally, there's monsters flying. I'm just like...
and all you hear is
darkness imprisoning me. Anyway, I gave Metroid Prime this huge, true replay. Because if people know me, they know I'm a huge 2D Metroid fan. I love Super, I love Zero Mission, I love Fusion, I love Metroid 1, and Metroid 2, they really need to remake that. Come on, everybody. Nintendo, please.
Hope you're listening.
But playing Prime, I really want to play all 3 Primes because I have a feeling, which I'm not going to talk about in this episode, they better be making a Prime, Metroid Prime 4 or
we're going to talk about that
or a new Metroid. But we're not talking about that right now. Wow. So I fought like maybe 3 or 4 bosses, and I was up to like 1 or 2 last night, and then I woke up in the morning and I fought some more bosses. Holy crap!
Are you almost at the end of it?
I don't think so. I'm like, I think I'm almost 3 or 4, like, not 4 or 5 hours into it or something.
Oh, wow.
I think the game's like a 12-hour game. But then again, I'm pretty sure that's 100% completion. Because Metroid, 100%ing is the true beating of the game. But I'm going to just try and beat the story.
I definitely feel like if you try to beat the trilogy, once you get the 3, you gotta have Conrad here, man.
I know.
We love you, Conrad.
Our friend Conrad.
He knows exactly what we're talking about.
That's a story for another day, but my heart goes out to you, Conrad.
We love you.
It always will.
Friends of this podcast, we love you.
But Metroid Prime. Oh, the music. The graphics. I own it on GameCube. To be fair, I was playing it on GameCube for a little bit because I'm just not a fan of motion controls. Let's face it, everybody. The Wii was a little weird with that.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? I finally turned on my Wii U again for the last night.
That poor dinosaur.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna boot up Prime. Because I also really wanted to see the resolution comparison to a GameCube on a flat screen. Have you not a big one, 50-inch. So
bragging.
I booted up the Prime trilogy, and I was like, wow, I can actually see. So that automatically pulled me in, and ironically, where I was on the GameCube was right where I was on the Wii.
Really?
And I was like, woo! let's get going. And I played for 2 or 3 hours last night in one sitting. And when I fought the bosses, the music was coming at me. It's really good. It's I almost am ashamed of myself for always saying that I didn't care for the Prime series.
Brinstar Podcast, but I don't like Prime.
Well, see, I'm a big fan of the other Metroids, aside from Federation Force.
You mean the poopy ones? No.
And Other M. Woo.
I love Other M.
We're going to talk about Other M in another episode. I'm sorry I keep bringing up this other Metroid talk, but the next episode, it's going to be really good talk about Metroid. We talked about this.
I need to educate myself. I'm probably going to have to beat like Super Metroid or something. Just
it's
so
going to be a really good episode next time about Metroid, or what I want to see in Metroid. But anyway, Prime blows me away. The music, the graphics, the control, the mystery is the big part of it. This is one of those series where it's the most un-Nintendo. Like, you're walking around and you're hearing these like weird electronic noises, but it all sounds kind of organic, and it's really creepy. But again, I was also playing Metallica with it, and it just felt so weird. It felt good. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like listening to their new album or whatever. I'm like, it fits. And also, sorry to tell everybody this, Samus is cooler than Master Chief. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
She has more personality than Master Chief ever will.
Master Chief is a concept more than he's a character.
Sorry. Master Chief does talk. And to give him credit, Halo 1 through 4. Halo 1 through 4, he's done really well. But I really do like Samus. She just looks cooler. I kind of feel for her a little more because she is silent. Like, you know, how she's...
Silent protagonist is such like an interesting case.
She's silent, but badass, and also a woman. She's probably my top 5 favorite characters.
We need more female protagonists in, like, games representing badassery.
Like, good ones. Like, you have Bayonetta, which... Yes,
she's over-sexualized.
She's over-sexualized, but she's badass.
I don't know her name, but the main girl from Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah.
Her. She's a really good protagonist. I mean...
The list goes on and on.
Without... the reboots, Lara Croft. Amazing.
Well, she's really good in the reboots.
I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she's not as sexualized. Because, like, in the old games, you know, you have crowds. Those are classics. Those are classics, don't get me wrong. But, like, I'm saying in the fact of having female protagonists where, like, it's subtle. But, like, you know.
I love that stuff. Like, in in Other M, I like what they did with her, but they didn't do it right. And I really like how Samus has always been a strong, like, when you think of Samus, she is a strong, independent woman. Same with Jill Valentine. Another one of my favorite characters from
I'm not as close to that, so...
Okay. Well, she's another one of my big-time favorites. Anyway, Prime was fantastic. I hopefully am going to beat it this weekend, and maybe I'll give you my thoughts on it at another time. So, that's basically it for our show here. You can find me, Brandon, on Twitter, at The Wednesdaynator, and you can find Matt at...
Just a Wisp on Twitter. Instagram is just Wisp27. I don't know, wherever's more convenient for you.
That's kind of just like both of us, you know. You search The Wednesdaynator, you search Just a Wisp, and you're bound to find us somewhere. Yeah. We're out there. So, thank you for listening this week on the Brinstar Podcast. I hope you had as much fun as we did discussing our Nintendo lives, as much as we did talking about it with you. It was a blast, honestly. It's always so much fun to just rant about Nintendo and a lot about Fire Emblem this week. Sorry about that, everybody. I love Fire Emblem. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you really enjoyed hearing my thoughts along with Matt's, please click that subscribe button for more upcoming content.